Hey everybody, I hope you all had a great day and I guess week. It's been a while since I've been live. I've been having a kind of busy week. So I guess first I'll explain a bit where I've gone. Without getting too far into it, I've just had a surprise or something unexpected and I had to go out of town this week, so obviously couldn't stream then. But I got back to my house at like 11:30 p.m. yesterday, so yeah, between packing, I've been pretty busy today, and of course my computer decided to not cooperate completely, but anyway, I think I'm ready to get back into this project, but I will ask your forgiveness if I have to take a while to reorient to where we left off. But so I think I was working on the animation system, and I think I just got it to where we're almost ready to load things out, or to load things from asset bundles. Let me see here. Oh, right, so the audio asset organizer hasn't been created yet. But here in the mod load manager, we do load the assets. Okay, so here we just need to take everything and place it into the actual game database. Alright, so this shouldn't be too difficult. Trying to see how I okay, so I just create the block prototype organizer right here. I guess audio doesn't really depend on anything else, so I can probably go ahead and just insert that right here. So audio asset organizer. Just do that. Equals, if I can type new. I guess on the plus side, my finger is feeling better. I was starting to get, not really carpal tunnel, but for some reason my index finger on my mouse hand was getting really tired from using the scroll wheel so much, but taking a break off seemed to have fixed that, so I guess that's one good thing. Alright, so then I'll just have an organize function call right here. And I don't think we'll really need to pass anything else to it. Okay, so I guess to get started, well, it's not really going to be very difficult. I just need to grab the audio mixers out of the loaded assets object and then the global audio sources as well. So database. I guess I'll need to create these dictionaries. Okay, well no, I can assume that they're already created, but I will need to clear them. Okay, so that's fine. Clear. I guess I'll just do both here. And if you've never used audio in Unity, it's not really that difficult. I guess I should have explained this a bit before, but an audio mixer is this nice interface where you can route different sounds into these different groups, and then you can control the volume of them all at once. And it makes volume equalization a lot more manageable. You can also add cool effects to them, such as like low pass filters and like a radio filter or something, which we'll definitely want to allow mods to take advantage of. So that's why I'm going to be supporting audio mixers in here. So basically we need to go through each mod and then point the audio mixer, or store the audio mixer into this game data. I think that's all we'll do here. At some point we're going to need to hook up audio mixers because audio mixers can also be routed into a group. But they won't do that like automatically. Okay, so I keep going back and forth. Let's just do for each table of contents and loaded contents. I guess content mod should be able to specify a audio mixer. Alright, let's see, I'm getting a little confused. Okay, yeah, so we have to loop the databases. Okay. So I think an easier way to do this might be... Sorry, trying to silence my phone. To have another function in here that we can call like to load all audio from a mod. So, and then we'll have loaded mod. Then we can just call load mod framework, and then for each content mod. All right, and then here we would just load, or we'd loop through each database in the mod for our audio assets. Wait, that's not correct, is it? I forget how I did this. So, data mod it. Okay, so actually everything just gets squished into this loaded databases, so I don't have to do it all separately. Okay. I'm just trying to see. Okay. Where is anything added to this? Okay, right here in mod load manager. Okay, so it just adds a database from the mod here. And this loaded database, where is this? Okay. Yeah, I remember now. Okay, so in a mod table of contents, you can either have, like, you can have this data base right here, which has like all this information right in the table of contents, so you can load it that way, or you can specify a separate database file to put all this information. So, and I guess the mod load manager takes care of putting it all in one simple to use list for me, which I had forgotten about. So we actually don't need this function. Okay, so for each var mod database in loaded databases, load audio mixers. I guess I'll just pass the whole thing. Let's just start with that. All right, so for each, oops. String mixer name and mod database data audio mixers. Why is it not like that? Oh, the audio mixer is actually a file. Okay. So this would be the Tamer mods audio mixer. And I usually like to put L at the beginning of anything that's part of a mod. Or wait, no, backwards. M at anything that's part of a mod, because that just means mod whatever. And then for the game logic, I would put G at the beginning for game. Okay, so let's just shorten that a bit. Yeah, so we have the name, the path to this asset, and then a group. Yeah, I guess the name would be how mods would access this particular audio mixer. And the path, yeah, is a path to this audio mixer in the asset bundle, and then the group is where we want it to route into its parent mixer. I guess we should have a parent mixer because it either want to go into master or in some other audio mixer that we can specify. Maybe from a framework mod or something. And then parent group. Okay, so all I have to do here really is just insert the audio mixer into the database. But I guess first we should make sure that the name is not null. Mixer name. So string is null or empty. Then we want to throw an error here. Throw new loading exception, or what do I call it? Mod load exception. Let's do string format audio mixer has no name. Yeah, so I guess we'll have a debug name in here, which I think is in the mod database. Oh, and so the path we know is valid because otherwise it would have thrown an error before trying to load it. But we should check that if it has a parent. Well, okay, so it doesn't have a parent name. We'll probably just assign it to the master. So string. So parent group. Oh yeah, parent mixer. I don't really need to do that. So if this is null or empty, then I guess I'll just set this to master to make things simpler on me. Well, in order to route these, we'd have to load them all first because we'll need to know the name of all audio mixers. So I guess we can still do this right here, but we won't be able to like make sure that this is all set up. But we can check, I guess, if the group name is null right now. So audio mixer has no group or has no parent group. Okay, so I guess I'll need to store a map of all audio mixers. Well, no, that's what I'm going to do in the game database, so there's no reason to do that here. Okay, so now we'll just try to load this asset. So database, audio mixers, mixer.name equals loaded assets. Okay, modifiers helper. I have to get the asset key, which is a little different than just the mod name because if two mods have an asset named the same thing, we want to store them in separate areas on this, or separate values on this hash. So that's why we get an asset key using this way, but it's basically just the mod name prefixed to the asset name. So this would be right, and then we need to say as audio mixer, but this would be as a Unity engine audio mixer. Okay, so let's actually move this to here, and that way we can catch if this is null before we actually try to assign it to the hash. So if the game's audio mixer is null, then we'll want to throw an error that for some reason the asset that was in this name is not actually what we want. It's something besides an audio mixer. Okay, so I guess I should say expected audio mixer at got something else. Do I need to do this, or do I find this out already? Or not find out, but do I assert this already? I don't think so. Let's see. The master, excuse me, master asset loader, I think just deposits anything in here, doesn't actually check the type yet. Okay, so yeah. And then the mod mixer name and the actual type. Well, I wouldn't know that yet because it's just a Unity engine asset. Or wait, object. Okay, so we won't actually do as yet. So I don't have to type that out, I'll cut it. Okay, so if the game mixer object is not an audio mixer, then we throw this. So here we can just say as audio mixer, and that's all set up. Oh, and then I can get the type. So type of game mixer object. Why is it not like that? The variable but used as a type. Oh, right. Yeah, wrong thing. It's not type of, it's get type. Okay, so I think that's all good to go. Wait 1 second, I think I'm about to sneeze. Okay. Something's been tickling my nose since the stream started, but hopefully that'll get rid of it. Okay, so here we make sure it has a name and that at least the parent and the group are valid as far as we know, and then we make sure it's the right type. I think that's all we can do for now. Okay, so after we do that, we'd want to route all the audio mixers. So let's make another function for that. I'll just create it. And we'll put it down here. And basically, well, I guess we'll have to go through the loaded databases again, won't we? Because we'll have to still have some information about each audio mixer. Maybe because we'll have to get the metadata that we had in the mods, but the actual game object does not need to know that information. I'm trying to decide, do I want to route the audio mixers now or when I'm actually in the game? I don't know what would be better. I guess doing it now would be fine. I still... So right now I just store the audio mixer by itself and I don't have any of the metadata. And before I write too much code, I'm wondering if I should store some of the metadata. But I don't really know. Well, we need to know the name because the mods... well, the name is actually stored as the key to the dictionary, so that's fine. We don't need to know the path, and we don't need to know this if it's already set up. So I guess nothing. Audio source, nothing else there either. So, all right, just thinking about it a bit. So in order, but we will need to get that metadata again. So we could either just loop through everything again, or try to actually like create another hash here that stores every actually maybe a hash isn't needed. Let's see. Let's make a class. So this will be I guess routing data is fine, and we'll basically just have we'll need a string for the parent, or not class, parent mixer, and then parent group. And I'd really like to be able to, well, I guess I still can. I was gonna say I'd like to be able to use the same object for audio mixers and audio sources, but I'm not sure if that will really be possible, but I guess if worse comes to worse, we can just have a separate variable in here that's for an audio source. Okay, so we have that. And then we'll have a private list of routing data. Okay, and then here we can just add this to the needs routing. I guess if that's the case, we're going to need to get the value of the game mixer a little early. Or not early, but we're going to need to reference it again, and in that case I don't want to have to call this, try to cast it twice. Okay, so needs routing, add new. Okay, so the child mixer is this game mixer. The parent mixer is a string because we haven't loaded them all yet, so we can't reliably route the mixers yet. So that would just be the mod mixer, parent mixer, and then parent group is parent group. We already validated those, so we can just add them right there. And then here, okay, let's simplify this a bit, and we'll actually loop through the list right now. So for each and needs routing, okay, and then down here we'll just get this object. That way I won't have to loop through in this function. We'll have already taken care of that. All right, so again, I'm just going to assume that right now we're only working with mixers. So we need to get the parent mixer, so Unity engine, audio. I guess I first should make sure that the mixer exists. Also here I should store this as a 2 upper and variant. And I guess I can go ahead and cast both of these here as well. Okay, so, and again, the reason I did that was to make sure that these are case insensitive. I guess I first, all right, so here if the routing parent mixer is master, then that means that we'll use the parent audio mixer, or the master audio mixer, which is one that comes predefined in the game. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'll need to get a reference to that somehow. I guess it will be passed to us. Okay, yeah, so we'll just offload that work to somebody else. Okay, and if that's the case, then let's see here. Parent equal, well, null right now, and then we just set parent equals master mixer. Otherwise, we'll need to get something out of the database that we just built. So else if, well, no, let's not do it that way. Well, no, we can. So else if database, oh right, in C#, there's a space right there. Audio mixers, and we'll use try get value, and we just pass this key here, which is the routing parent mixer, and out parent. And then if this is false, then we'll throw an error. So audio mixer does not exist. It's not the most descriptive exception here because it doesn't tell us like what mod this comes out of, but I guess I could add that. Public string debug name. Tries to route to non-existent mixer 0. Yes, 0. There we go. So routing dot debug name. Okay, and the debug name would just be let's do that, string format. It'd be the mod name and then the mixer name. So mod db debug name and mixer name. Okay, so that's good. So now either way, we have the parent audio mixer, either the master one, which is built into the game, or some other one that the mod provided. Okay, so right now I'm just going to assume that routing it only has audio mixers. So the child mixer. Okay, yeah, so here's where I would set it, but yeah, we haven't gotten the audio mixer group yet. Audio mixer group is, okay, let's do parent group. All right, and so I think parent find matching groups. Connected groups in the mixer form a path. This path has a format master group. So to find the ground child group, for example, valid search string would be for instance. I'm not really sure what this means. Instance rand chi would return exactly one group, while hild or oop would return two different groups. Oh, I see. Semester group, child of master group, grandchild of master group. I don't really want the subpath, I just want the name of the group. I guess I could have similar names. That's really seems to be the only way to do it. I guess this is no problem if somebody doesn't have duplicate names, and if they do, then they could just rename them to make them unique, so or use that grandchild naming scheme. Okay, so we'll want find matching groups, routing parent group. And so if groups is null or groups length is 0, then that means that there's no matching groups, so we'd want to throw something there for sure. Tries to route to non-existent mixer group. And then we'll have one other error if the group length is greater than 1, which would be ambiguous, so we'd want to throw something there too. So audio object tries to route to ambiguous mixer group. Name is not unique. Okay, and then otherwise the parent group is just groups 0. Oh, yeah, parent group, not just parent. Okay, so now we finally have everything we need, and I can just set the routing child mixer dot output audio mixer group to group, or wait, parent group. Perfect. So now that's all good to go, and I guess I need to load the global audio now, which shouldn't be that difficult. Well, I don't need to loop again, I can just insert that right there. Okay, so we'll do something similar, except we just have the name to validate this time. Oh, well, not really, because these audio sources also have a mixer and a mixer group. I just won't call them parent. So this would be audio mixer and mixer group. I guess, yeah, we'll just say, I don't know. Instead of audio mixer, I'll just call it the mixer. So actually, it really is not going to be very much different. Except instead of loading an audio mixer, we load an audio source. Oops, I just did the same thing. Audio sources, so source name, audio source, and 0 has no name, so same thing. And then just change that to mixer. If it's no longer empty, we just use master again. Mixer, oops. Mixer group. And change this to audio source, has no mixer group. Okay, and then here we're trying to load the audio source, so... Alright, actually in Unity the audio source is not in the audio namespace. It's because it's older from when they couldn't use namespaces, so... Audio source at... Load that and change, I guess I should change some variables here. The game source object, and then this is the game source. Really, it's almost exactly the same except for a couple debug strings and the types that we're using, but I don't want to try to combine the two the two functions because we might add some more differences later. Audio source. Okay, and then here all I have to do is just check to make sure if these aren't null. Oh, this should be does not equal null actually. Then if routing child source does not equal null. Click here, is it the same? Oh, it's exactly the same. But unfortunately it's not an interface. So I couldn't combine these both into one object. Yeah, Unity Engine doesn't use interfaces very much, which is a bit of a shame, but because this is definitely one instance where it would make sense, I think. But I think that's it. I guess here we could clear the needs routing list, although I don't think it makes much difference. And just like that, I think audio is loaded now. Okay, except I need to get the master audio mixer. Trying to figure out how that would get in here. So master audio mixer would be an asset. Like here, so we have this audio and master, and I could put it or attach it to an object on the scene. Because I can't reference it. Like I can't load an asset at runtime unless it's part of the streaming assets. So I guess I could load it like that. Well, no, I wouldn't want to do that because then it would be someplace that the mods could tamper with. Is there any way to like get... No. Because audio mixers aren't really like a Unity object. They're kind of... You can't instantiate them. As far as I know. Maybe you can. Let's see. I guess the best way to do it would just be to have some object. Or I guess I could put it in a resources folder and load it like that. That's a good question. Let me look online real quick. So, Unity load audio mixer from resources. Create or load. You get an error. Yeah, so it's just an asset. You don't really load it. Okay, so you just don't instantiate it. That's, yeah, I guess that would make sense. Okay, I try not to use resource folder too much, but I think that's the best way because otherwise, because another object or another, what am I trying to say? Another way to do this would be to create a Unity object here that would be like the audio mixer handle, and then we could grab that, but then I'd have to rely on the Unity, or yeah, the Unity system to see what scene we're in and make sure each scene has a reference to the master audio mixer. So I think now it is better just to load it from resources. And resources is just a folder in Unity that basically tells Unity that anything inside here you'll want to be able to load from runtime. And I mean, nothing is wrong with it, but anything you put in here is automatically included with your game. So you have to be really careful not to put unneeded files in here, or they'll still ship with the complete game, even if they're not actually used. So should the asset organizer... No, I think that maybe this loaded will go ahead and have the master. Our loaded assets object would have the master audio mixer in it. Okay, so Unity engine audio mixer. So this will be the master audio mixer. And if that's the case, then the audio asset organizer doesn't need to have this right here because the master mixer is in this loaded variable already. Okay, so we got that right there. Okay, so now somewhere needs to actually load that object. I guess the question is, where is the loaded assets? Yeah, these final assets, where is this created? So it's a component. Okay, so I guess it's not created anywhere. Is it ever disposed? It is, but it's not ever cleaned up. That's kind of bad. Will dispose are disposed, and then ready for cleanup would return disposed, and then here equals true, and then after the asset organizer is done with this job, we can dispose the loaded assets, and then it will be cleaned up. Okay, but anyway, the mod load manager at some point would just load the audio mixer from the resources, which isn't really a big deal. Okay, so I guess load global objects. Okay, I called it final assets here. So the master audio mixer. Okay, and how to load something from Unity is just resources. Oh, if I can spell it correctly. Load, and then we want audio mixer. Is that... Yeah, that's the mod version of it. So Unity engine audio mixer, and then we just give it the file name here, which is audio slash master. I think that's what I called it. Okay, but it's capitalized. And to reference anything in a resources folder, you just start here. You don't have to say slash resources or slash assets or anything. If you've worked with like editor scripts and you want to load an asset that way, you do usually have to say start up at the assets folder, but not with resources. Okay, so I guess that's good to go. All right. Let's see if we can play the game. And there's nothing to load right now, but if the game will at least run, we know that there's no bugs that I've introduced adding this code. We can actually debug loading audio files in 1 second. Okay, so there was something, let's see. Not set to an instance of an object. Okay, so the audio mixers is the data null? Well, either one, I guess, could be. So if the mod database, let's test it here. So if mod database is, oh no, that wouldn't work, would it? Well, the mod database itself would never be null. That doesn't make any sense, but audio mixers could be null. And then we just return. Same here. I think that's all that error was. I can also hide this egg dino, I don't really need it. What was this? Okay, this was just testing an audio source. I could probably get rid of it too. I'll just hide it because I probably will use it again later. Wrong button. Okay, so it loads fine. it's left over from our animation testing. All right. So no bugs, loading, nothing. But now we need to try to actually load an audio source. And so I won't have to load a bunch of different, or rebuild the, what am I trying to say? Rebuild the asset bundles a bunch of times. I want to go ahead and create both an audio source and an audio mixer. Okay, so I guess let's just have some test file here. Let me load up. Okay, so I'm going to use a program called BFXR, and it's really just a simple audio creator. It's probably going to be pretty loud, so let me turn... Well, first let me pause the music so we can actually hear what I'm going to do, and then I'll turn down my desktop audio. But excuse me if this first one's kind of loud because I don't really know what it's set at right now. Okay. That was really loud for me, but not too loud for you, so hopefully that will be okay. Let's just do pickup. Actually, I don't even know if you guys could hear that, but I think I'll go with this one. That was probably loud. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's pretty generic, but it'll be good just for testing. And so I'll export this wave. And we just save it to the project asset, so I won't have to go and move it around afterwards. Okay. This VFXR is a really nice tool for making lo-fi audio effects. I use it almost always for my Ludum Dare game, so I'd definitely recommend it. We probably won't use it for the final version, obviously, because it doesn't really match our art style, but for testing, it's a good way to get some sounds in the game. I'm having a hard time finding the file while talking, or the folder, I mean. So, okay, I got mod assets, audio. I'll just call this test blip. Okay, I think we're done with that. So we turn down the sound again and turn on the music. Okay, there we go. And so it should show up in Unity here. So test blip. It's already mono, so I'll just do that to normalize the sound. This looks fine. So now I'll want to, apply that and create an audio source, and then we'll place the test blip, and then I'll just put it into the egg dino group, which is in here. Oh, that's actually true. The audio source doesn't need... Well, okay, I guess we'll leave it because you might want to put an audio source into a different audio mixer that's not part of the game, because, that's true. How do I want to do that? Because the audio source could already have a reference to its output mixer here, and so I wouldn't need to actually route it through code. But if, for example, we want to route this audio source directly to the master, which is probably not a good idea, but just in case, as an example, we wouldn't have a reference to this group while we're building the asset, so we definitely want to be able to specify it in the mod files. So maybe we just won't route it if the source has a mixer. So if source already has a mixer group, then we won't need to add it to the routing, but if it doesn't, then we'll want to. And if that's the case, then we'll only need to validate these values if the output mixer group is null. Okay, so that's fine, I think. So I guess we're gonna need to test both versions. So should I create a test blip too? I guess why not? All right, so I'll just turn down the sound a bit just to make sure it doesn't it's not too loud for you guys, and we'll do a power up. Whoa, don't like that one. I actually like the first one, I think. But I don't know how different it is from Okay, well, that's definitely noticeable. So we'll just use this. Export. I'll just call this test boop. And there we go. It shows up here, and so I'll just again force it to mono. Okay, and so this test boop audio source. I'll duplicate this, and this one will actually not set any output group, and we'll try to route it into the master output. Oh yeah, we don't want play on awake on either of these. Okay. So now I should create the audio stuff here. So audio, I can spell it right. Mixers. Oh. Yeah, let's save all keybind and this Visual Studio Code is different than almost every other text editor I've used, so it always confuses me. And for some reason my indentation is not looking good here. This should be there. Okay, this is another... What is going on? It's like some of these are half indentations. Okay, anyway, I could spend forever trying to clean this up. Okay, so the audio mixer, we have the name. What did I name it? I guess it doesn't really matter what it's called here, but test content, sound effect mixer, so... why is it doing that? What else? Forget the other fields here. Okay, yeah, so the path and then the mixer and the group. Let's look. Egg Dino. Okay, so I was just looking at the... I don't remember what I named the asset bundle, but it's test content, then the slash, and then the name of the asset in the bundle. So this would be test content, sound effect, SFX mixer. Oh. And then parent mixer is master. And the parent mixer group is sound effect. Or I think I just called it parent group, didn't I? Sound effect. Let's... I shouldn't... Okay, I was gonna say, I wonder if when you look in the audio mixer here, I have it capitalized like this in Unity, but since I use a Unity function to find the audio mixer group, I wonder if it's case sensitive or not. I would guess it probably is, so if that's the case, then the group I should not call to upper invariant. I can still do my keys here, make them case insensitive, but since we go straight through Unity, I shouldn't do that. Hopefully Unity will make them insensitive itself, but I don't know if that's true or not. Okay, so master and then sound effect. Okay, so that's all for that. And then audio sources. So we have two. We have the test beep and the test boop. And the path is test content / test blip. And I don't have to set any mixers here because the test blip sound effect already has a mixer. And text boop. And this one definitely does not have a mixer. And so I'd want to set the mixer myself. Master. And then mixer group to sound effect. Okay, so now I have all that metadata complete. And hopefully now, oh, well, let's try playing the game. It's going to give an error because I haven't rebuilt the asset bundles to actually contain those files yet. Yeah, so unable to load asset, test boop, and test... I don't know why it tries to do that twice, but... Oh, probably just because I print the error out twice. Oh. That's interesting. So asset loader does it, and then the master asset loader. Oh, I bet the master asset loader probably just rethrows this. Oh, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, something is kind of weird with the mod loading exception system, but I have that on my to-do list to fix. Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, that's just the problem. But anyway, we know that the test boop does not exist, so. Okay, so another thing I need to do here is actually make these prefabs so now they're assets, and I can just drag, I think you have to do it individually, but I'll drag each one down into the audio folder. And that's because these are actually sound assets in Unity, which I think they're called audio clips. But here we actually have the audio source, which contains a little bit more information, such as volume and obviously the output group. And so this is what we actually want to load into the game. So we set the asset bundle to test content. And did I do that here? Yeah, I did. So now if I build asset bundles, which always takes a little bit, it should load, well, put these these audio assets into the bundle, which will make the game able to load them. But it's going to take a couple minutes. So let's, while this is going, let's take a look at our to-do. So this is what we're testing now, and I'm actually doing this simultaneously, so that's kind of nice. Sound is actually pretty simple. Besides that, we're just going to need to create a Lua interface class that will allow mods to play and stop sounds, and something similar for audio mixers so that they can change volume and sound filters during the game. And then finally, like we have animation wait handles so that we can control the sequence of animations, we'll also be able, or it'd be nice if we could wait for a sound effect to finish. Oh yeah, and then music. I'm not sure exactly how music will work because we could have mods just play music, but it might be easier if mods just give a list of specific audio sources to play for music and then the game just automatically plays them. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do that. Okay, so is it done? I guess so. We didn't actually get a notification or anything. So let's show this file in the Explorer. The asset bundle. Yeah, so this was modified today, so I guess it is done. I can actually look in the manifest really quick. Not right now. And we can see, yeah, the test blip and bloop are in here as well as the audio mixer, so we're good. So I'll just cut these files and we'll put it into the streaming assets folder, which has our mods for now. Okay, and I bet we probably like quadrupled the size of the test, the asset bundle with adding those small sound effects. Sound is so huge. Okay, so given key was not present in the dictionary. At least we did a bit. Oh yeah, I can't just go there. This is in the audio asset organizer at line 59. Okay, so the asset key is not there. That doesn't make much sense. Unless I didn't store it correctly. So mod name, yes, this takes care of that for me. The mixer path. Oh, you know what? Here I'm using the mixer name and it should be path. Same here. Okay, so that was just an error on my part. Okay, so audio source at test content inline test blip got a Unity engine game object. Oh, that's fine because yeah, we're actually looking for a prefab. So what I need to do is, yeah, we also have to instantiate this at some point. Okay, I should change this to global audio prefabs, I think. Or this won't even be an audio source. It'll just be a game object because it needs to be instantiated somewhere. So I forgot about that. Expected game object. I guess I should make sure it has an audio source object on it. Probably. Okay, so yeah, we have another error here. If Unity, that's not. So if the source get component audio source. Oh, if I can spell Unity. Engine audio source equals null. Then we want to throw an error, or do we? I think for now we do. I'm trying to think of any reason why we'd want to have, or we'd have a global audio object that didn't have an audio source component on it. No audio source component on prefab. Okay, so So I need to change this again to the game object source prefab, and then I guess I'll get the actual audio source here. Because yeah, we will need to know if it has an output mixer group already. That's what I wanted to do. Source equals G source prefab. Oh, I already copied the dot. We store the prefab here, but then we actually look at the source for the mixer group. That's a... So I can't assign the parent group to the prefab here, can I? I wonder if I assign this here and then instantiate this prefab, if it will still have this set. I guess that's one thing I'll need to test. Right now, let's make sure everything loads. Oh. Oh yeah, so this should be game object. I guess worst comes to worst, we'll just have to create another data file that will store the audio source prefab and then the mixer group. It's not that big of a deal, but it does make things a little less clean. Okay, so an error. Expected a game object, got a Unity engine game object. Oh, I left this as the wrong type. Oh, sorry, my internet's taking a nosedive, but hopefully it will recover soon. Just loading stuff right now, so not missing anything. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we loaded through. These objects are still here, but that's not... Yeah, that's not loaded, that's from here, so I should delete those. Okay, so now I need some object that will instantiate those global assets so I can see how everything is working. Okay, well I guess we'll just create a new one. So that would be something in the UX for sure. So I guess global audio creator. And I'll need to store them somewhere, but I'm not sure how that will work yet. So for now, I'll just create them in the list or in the scene. And I'll... Oh, I spelled this wrong. Monster Mondel creator. I'd like to rename this. But since we're working with a mono behavior, and since I have it already here, I don't want to rename it in Visual Studio because it will break this object in Unity. So if I rename it in Unity, then it will preserve the scene. Where is it? Monster Model Creator. Monster Model Creator. And so now I just need to change this to get rid of the N, because model behaviors, the name has to be the same as the file name. And everything should be fine. This should fix itself after it recompiles. Okay, yeah, so everything's good. Okay, so back to here. Oh, except I did actually want to copy this code because we'll be reusing it, and I can delete this. Alright, so this needs to be a public tactical lizard tamer mono behavior. We won't need the battle, but we will need the game data. And then we're going to insert ourselves into the worker list. We'll need those. Oops. Oh, yeah, I clicked the wrong thing there. Oops, I didn't use that. Okay, so all I have to do here, yeah, this is all not needed. So database, global audio, count, game object, prefab, oops. So I want capital. Thank you very much, Unity. Or actually it was Visual Studio that did that for me. Prefab equals database, global audio, I. Oh no, that doesn't work because the global audio is a hash, so I actually do need to use a for each here. For each. I didn't mean to start a new line. I guess var pair and database global audio, and so the prefab is the pair value. I don't know if I'll need the name. I guess so. So string name is pair key. Okay, and then to create the object, it's pretty simple. So game object. Oh, except it keeps trying to help me. I guess I can just call instantiate, and we'll want to instantiate a game object. And from this prefab, and the parent, I guess, will be us. Okay, let's just use Unity Engine. And we might have to do some stuff, but for now, I think I'll just call game object, get component, audio source, and we'll just play it right now. See if it works. Okay, and I should make another object here for... Okay, it's gotta finish loading or compiling. So this will be global audio. What did I call it? Audio. Oh, global audio creator. So that should be it. Okay, there it played. It was a bit loud, but at least we know it worked. The test blip. So can I actually like open this in the audio mixer? Okay, cool, I can. Although it's not the same one, is it? Okay, no, so I can't actually view this, which is a shame. I guess that makes sense because it's not actually in the game, it's loaded from an asset bundle. But I can see this one because it's connected to this. You can see when I click here, it highlights the group and the master audio mixer, but then when I click here, it doesn't highlight anything because it's referencing this test content sound effects mixer, and it's not the same as this one. It's one that I got from the asset bundle. But if I click here, then it would show up. But obviously, since it's not playing right now, let's make this quieter, and then maybe set this to loop. That's not gonna work. I wanted to test something. Unfortunately, I can't really make sure that this asset audio mixer is outputting to this audio mixer. Okay, but is the sound effect... Okay, so it's still minus 20. Let's set both to loop. It's going to be a bit crazy. Yeah, this is also messy, but I just want to test this. So loop is true. Yeah, it'd be really useful if the audio source objects had a little button that you could press to play them just for testing, but they don't as far as I know. It wouldn't be that hard to make a object to do that for you, but... Okay, so now they're going to loop a bunch. I'm going to disable this one because we don't need to test it. Oh, they both have the same file. I must have messed that up, but anyway. So now this test blip is going through the test content sound effect mixer. So if I change the volume of sound effect here, it should... Okay, we can see it's playing, so that's good. Edit and play mode. So now I can change it here, and that verifies that this mixer is moving through the master mixer, which is what I wanted to make sure. Okay, so I'm happy with that. But while I'm here, these both have... Yeah, I forgot to set the test boop audio clip here. Yeah, so I need to... I guess I'll rebuild the asset bundle for now while we think about what the next step is. Okay, so yeah, I did both of these, load and route audio mixer. So I guess next step, start working with Lua. Okay, and yeah, I'll take both of these lines away. And now it'll complain that game object variable is not used, so I'll delete that. Okay, now we got this error. I don't really know what that means, but it seems to happen if you try to... if Unity loses focus when it's building asset bundle. Okay, so I'll go ahead and copy the new asset bundles. I think it's done. Okay, so let's try to load it again just to make sure that the change I did is correct and it's not some bug. Okay, so now test blip has test blip audio clip and test boop has test boop audio clip, so we're good. Okay, so let's see. Probably just have a few more minutes left of streaming, so we can get a bit of work done though. Okay, so that was the mod data file. We actually want to work in the Lua interface, which are objects that mod scripts can interact with. And I guess we'll need to try to figure out how I want to organize this, because if we want it to work with sound effect or with the animation system, you'll need to be able to call like some function to get a sound effect. But then you might want to play it outside of animations. And since there's so much here for sound, like the pitch and the volume, and if it loops or not, it'd be nice if we had an audio source, like object, that the Lua could just interact with instead of having to have a separate function for each of these, if that makes sense. Let's clean up here. I usually like to start from scripts and work backwards when I'm working with Lua. Okay, so I have play sound effect. I already did that a bit. Okay, so I do have this, but I guess that's fine, but I think I actually do want to have like a sound effect object. And then if I want to have audio, like I synchronize animations with audio, then maybe I could have just a function here in animations to create a wait handle. Well, no, let's see. Okay. Let's try to think about how I want to do this. So, let's just think hypothetically, if I wanted to say change the volume of a sound and then play it, there's two ways I could do it. I could do animations, set volume, and then the name to 1, for example, and then animations, play sound effect, name, and then we'd have the wait handle here like this. That's fine. Another way is we could have something like local sound effect equals animations get, I guess I'll call it get audio. And then we could set sound effect volume. And then here's the only thing I'm not sure about. Do I want to, I could just call sound effect play, and then that would return a coroutine, which I guess is fine. Our coroutine handle. I mean, I could also do something like this for coroutine animations. Wait for sound effect, or we could just do this. Something like that. But this seems like kind of roundabout. I guess if I just think of audio as part of the animation system, the only time that's not the case is for like interface audio or music, but the mods wouldn't be playing either of those directly, so I think it's okay. So I think I will go this way just because it's simpler. Okay, so if that's the case, let's delete that. Okay, so audio source. And since we're going to use it in Lua, I want to call Moonsharp user data. Or I use this, what's it called? Attribute. And that just tells Moonsharp that yes, that's okay to insert into Lua. Or to call from Lua, I guess is a better way to say that. And then, like always, we want to hide constructors so that mods can't create these objects themselves. Oops, that's the wrong thing. This is Moonsharp hidden. So a couple things we'll want here is public int volume and a set. Don't really know how this will work yet. It shouldn't be int, it should be a float. And also same thing except pitch. Oh, that's not how you spell it. There we go. Let's see what else. I guess loop, we want to play and stop. And then the output group. Which I don't even know how we'd reference that yet, so I'll wait. Let's just use volume, pitch. Oh, we should probably just do play first of all, but public void play, and actually it returns. What is the value? Oh, it's a dynamic value again, because it can either be a coroutine helper or a coroutine asynchronous request or the animation wait handle. I'll just return null for now. So I guess the big question is, how do we actually set these values? Because as I've written here, it can either be a local audio source, which is something specifically attached to a model, or a global audio source, which is what we loaded from mods just now. So I guess the question is, how do I want to store that information in here? I guess I'll have the model ID and I guess audio ID. It's probably the best way to do it, and both of these should be hidden. Well, I guess they should be private actually. And they should be getters, but probably not setters, because this should not be mutable. And then everything here will also be hidden from Lua. And then I'll have another constructor here, which will have the model ID and the audio ID. So for global audio, I guess the model ID would just be -1. Okay, and the play. See, the thing about all this stuff is that we won't actually set this immediately, because if we're, again, in the action phase of animation, then we need to wait to set volume and stuff until we actually reach that place in the sequence. So when we try to set anything here, we'd actually just need to go through all that convoluted loop with the animation system. I guess it's not that convoluted. I know how to do it. It's just there's quite a bit of steps. So I guess in the animations, we'll just have something here, which would be source get audio. And I guess we'd have a string. Well, I guess there'll be two versions here. One for the model, and then the audio name, and then for global, the model would be null or just one argument. So yeah, we'll need to have some more delegates here. And somewhere the source files will need to be stored, the audio source, probably in the Lua object registry, but how would I do that? It's interesting. Yeah, it seems like the most complicated things with the audio system, I think, is going to be trying to store all this data. Okay, well, I guess we'll just take it one step at a time. Sharp hidden, and this will be function, dynamic value, string, and then we'll turn an audio source, get audio from a model, and then sharp hidden, public function, string, audio source, get audio global. That's not what I want to do. Okay, there we go. And I know it's a bit of a shorter stream tonight, but like I said, I've had kind of a crazy day, so I think I might cut it here. Also, we are at a pretty good stopping point, and I'll need to think about exactly how I want to store all this information, but at least we did load all the assets, and that's half the problem, or half the work with the system, so I'm pretty happy with it, with our progress. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming by and watching. I really appreciate it. I should be live tomorrow at about 8:30 Eastern time, and I plan to stream for a full 2 hours then. Hopefully I'll have a bit more energy. I bet so. I have a YouTube channel if you'd like to catch up on any streams. I will upload everything there. Usually it comes out the next night after the stream. I also have a Discord channel if you'd like to chat with me and other viewers throughout the day. We'd love to have you there. And finally, to be notified when I go live, feel free to follow me here or also on my Twitter. I try to post there as well. I'll have links in the chat, or you can also check the video or channel description. And yeah, I think that's it for me for tonight. Again, thanks you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day. All right, bye-bye.